Buckle up because the news cycle is moving faster than ever today. First, we are hitting the road with a bizarre twist in automotive history as the Chinese automaker Sears reveals a wild new patent for a voice-activated in-vehicle toilet that slides right out from under the passenger seat. This isn't just about convenience on your next road trip. It is a full-blown feature war in the electric vehicle market, where brands are throwing everything from karaoke to waste management systems into their designs to grab your attention.
Looking for a fast-charging, ultra-responsive stylus for your iPad? Meet the 2X Fast Charge Active Stylus Pen, designed for 2018 to 2025 Apple iPads. Take your creativity and productivity to the next level. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Next, we have a strange and serious report coming out of South Carolina, where Jenkinsville Mayor Greg Ginyard, SR, has been hit with criminal charges. The mayor was taken into custody by the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office following an incident where he allegedly trespassed on private property and harassed a work crew using a lawn mower, violating a formal notice he had already been served to stay away. Shifting gears to a true musical icon, we are diving into the legendary career of Bob Dylan, the voice of a generation who redefined songwriting for listeners across North America. From his gritty folk roots in Greenwich Village and protest anthems that echoed through civil rights marches, to his shocking electric transformation at the Newport Folk Festival and his Nobel Prize win, we are looking at how his raw lyrics and constant reinvention still dominate the modern musical landscape. Finally, we are tracking a high-stakes controversy involving Yousof Azizi, a PhD candidate at Virginia Tech and a vocal critic of international sanctions who was recently taken into custody by ICE agents. With his family left in uncertainty and his supporters raising alarms about the state of free speech, this story is sparking a massive debate on the handling of dissenting voices in the West. If you want to stay ahead of these stories, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Ever been stuck in gridlock or cruising down an endless highway only to realize you're suddenly hit with a desperate, bathroom-related emergency? We've all been there, usually praying for the next rest stop to appear. But what if your car could actually solve the problem for you? It sounds like something out of a bizarre sci-fi comedy, but Chinese automaker Sears is officially taking this concept from fantasy to patent paperwork. They've filed plans for an actual, honest-to-goodness in-vehicle toilet that slides out from beneath the passenger seat. This isn't just a bucket in a corner. The patent details a system you can deploy with the touch of a button or even simple voice commands. It's got a ventilation system to vent odors directly outside and a heating mechanism designed to dry and process the waste, all before the unit neatly tucks itself back into the floorboards. Now, is this a stroke of genius for road trippers and campers, or is it a little too close for comfort? Honestly, it's a bit of both. But in the hyper-competitive Chinese EV market, this kind of feature creep is becoming the new normal. Brands are desperate to differentiate themselves, cramming everything from high-end karaoke rigs to full-body massage chairs into their cabins just to win over buyers. Of course, we have to keep our expectations in check. An analyst might tell you that a patent is a long way from a production vehicle, and for good reason. There are some massive engineering and hygiene hurdles here. Still, it proves that the race for the next big thing in automotive tech is getting weird. Whether this toilet ever makes it to your driveway or stays in the filing cabinet, it's a clear signal that manufacturers are running out of traditional ideas and are willing to think, quite literally, inside the box. So, would you trust your car with this kind of upgrade, or is this one innovation that should stay in the prototype phase? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more wild tech news. At the end of the day, the future of driving is looking a lot more comfortable, or maybe just a lot more complicated. What would you do if the local mayor showed up on your property, not to shake hands, but to terrorize your work crew on a lawn mower? That sounds like a scene from a sitcom, but for a property owner in Jenkinsville, it was a very real, very frustrating Saturday. We're talking about Mayor Greg Ginyard, SR, who is now facing serious legal trouble after an incident at a private lot on Lakeview Drive. According to the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office, Deputies were called to the scene after reports of Ginyard allegedly trespassing and harassing a crew that was busy working on the site. Now, you might be thinking this was just a one-off misunderstanding, but the evidence suggests something much deeper. Investigators confirmed that this wasn't the first time these two parties have clashed. In fact, there's a long-standing history of bad blood here. The mayor had actually been served with a formal notice previously, essentially telling him he wasn't welcome on the property. Ignoring a legal notice to stay away is a bold move for an elected official, and it's one that landed him in the back of a patrol car. Deputies tracked Ginyard down at his home shortly after the complaint was filed and took him to the Fairfield County Detention Center on charges of trespass after notice. It's a messy situation that leaves us asking, what exactly was the mayor trying to prove by hopping on that mower? While the exact nature of their ongoing dispute remains a mystery for now, one thing is clear: nobody is above the law, regardless of their title. What do you think about a public official taking these kinds of matters into their own hands? Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this update, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more local stories that prove real life is often stranger than fiction. Ever wonder how one man with a battered acoustic guitar managed to rewrite the DNA of North American music? We're talking about a guy who started out playing for spare change in the coffee shops of Greenwich Village and ended up with a Nobel Prize on his shelf. Bob Dylan isn't just a legend. He is a permanent tectonic shift in the cultural landscape. If you think your favorite rapper or indie artist is pushing boundaries, just know they're likely standing on the shoulders of this guy. Born Robert Zimmerman in Minnesota, Dylan didn't just write songs. He wrote poetry that felt like a punch in the gut. In the early 60s, he took the folk tradition and sharpened it into a weapon against injustice. Think about Blowin' in the Wind. He was barely 22, yet he managed to ask the questions that defined an entire movement. When he wasn't busy becoming the voice of a generation, he was busy annoying the hell out of the gatekeepers. Remember the 1965 Newport Folk Festival? That's when he plugged in an electric guitar and effectively told the traditionalists to get with the times or get left behind. It was a ballsy move that birthed folk rock and set the stage for everything from the Beatles to modern-day hip-hop. What makes Dylan so vital for listeners today, in an era of 15-second TikTok trends, is his complete refusal to stay in one lane. He's gone from acoustic protest to gritty electric blues, from gospel to country, and even to jazz-infused reflections on history like Murder Most Foul. He taught us that an artist doesn't have to be a static product. You can reinvent yourself, fail, succeed, and disappear, all while keeping your integrity intact. Albums like Blood on the Tracks remain the gold standard for heartbreak, proving that raw, honest storytelling never goes out of style. He didn't just sing about the world. He observed it, questioned it, and challenged the very idea of what a song could be. Whether you're diving into his surrealist lyrics on Highway 61 Revisited or exploring his legendary, endless touring grind, there's a version of Dylan that speaks to exactly where you are in life. He transformed songwriting from mere entertainment into a legitimate, respected art form. So, if you want to understand the heartbeat of American music, you've got to start with Dylan. Go check out his bootleg series or just put on Tangled Up in Blue and let it wash over you. If you're a fan already, tell me in the comments, what's the one Dylan lyric that still blows your mind every time you hear it? Because at the end of the day, Bob Dylan proved that even when the world is changing, the right words can make that change stick forever. We are constantly told that Western values are the gold standard for freedom of speech. But what happens when the narrative doesn't fit the agenda? The mask is slipping, and the arrest of Yousof Azizi, a PhD candidate at Virginia Tech, is the latest evidence that the so-called land of the free has a very specific definition of who gets to be heard. Imagine it. It is early morning on April 13th, and in front of his own children, ICE agents haul Yousof away. No charges, no warning, and despite having a valid visa, he is now sitting in legal limbo, threatened with transfer to a detention center in Louisiana. This is not just an immigration issue. It is a calculated silencing of a man who dared to speak the truth. Yousof wasn't just another student. He was a fearless analyst frequently seen on BBC Persian, a man who consistently reminded the world that sanctions and war don't hurt regimes. They destroy the lives of the hungry and the innocent. By pulling him off the streets, the state has effectively used violence to mute a critic of Washington and Tel Aviv's policies. And where is the outrage from the mainstream media? The silence is deafening. They will give hours of airtime to warmongers, yet when a brilliant anti-war voice is snatched away, they suddenly lose their appetite for investigative journalism. It is hypocrisy in its purest, most toxic form. We cannot let this case disappear into some dark, bureaucratic void. We need to demand legal transparency, apply pressure through international human rights channels, and refuse to let this story be buried. Freedom of speech is not a luxury for those who agree with the status quo. It is a right defined by how we treat the people we disagree with. If we allow this to happen to one father today, who is to say it won't be you tomorrow? Demand accountability, share this story, and refuse to let the truth be held captive. Because in the end, if the West can't defend the rights of its own critics, what exactly is it standing for?